Good morning everyone, it's Pierre speaking. It's Tuesday morning, it's the 20th of February 2018. Time is about 8 o'clock by the looks of it, GMT time. Starting off with the Euro Index 4-hour chart. If we look at the direction indicator, always start with the direction indicator, guys. We can see the 4-hour tells us that we're in a short area, we're short because both lights are red here, but the main trend is still up. If we look at the daily, we're still above that 200 EMA, so the trend is up. Last week we closed 14 pips higher than the opening. So if we flip the 4-hour chart from the bottom to the top, we have a zone starting at 108.79, coming down to 108.53. Now price is busy dancing around this level here, 108.53. By the looks of it, it wants to break to the downside. If it does, then I would rather prefer looking for longs at the daily 55 at 108.38. or last week's low at 108.28, and if that breaks too, definitely at 108.11. Remember, the main trend is down, but there's a little bit of a shift on the 4-hour there. Euro US dollar 4-hour chart. 4-hour tells us to long, daily tells us to long. We close 160 pips higher than the opening, so we had a nice big push. So we can flip the daily for that long zone if we flip, or rather the 4-hour, because we had that big move there. Flip the 4-hour previous week from the bottom to the top. Our zone will start at 2395, coming down to 2314. Now problem is that we broke the support level here. It was a psychological level, weekly main pivot point 55, so that is very significant. So I will prefer, if price finds support here and we pull back, I would prefer if price can break this resistance at 2395 first. So I need to break, pull back, and then re-look to long it. Okay, where we are now, possible long can set up, but then you're trading right into that resistance. I would prefer if we can break it to the upside, pull back, then the long. If we keep on dropping here, then I will look for this area here between 2276 coming down to 2234 for support to go long again. We've got a 200 EMA there, a weekly pivot point, and if we look to the left of the chart, previous support resistance in that area too. Euro JPY daily chart. I'm going to stick on the daily chart. The 4-hour tells us to short, the daily tells us that's mixed. Last week we closed 140 pips lower than the opening. Now we broke a hell of a lot of EMAs here to the downside, guys, and by the looks of it, we are in no man's land. I will look for possible long setups at 143, even a psychological level of 151. Support to go long. Otherwise, shorts at 134.04, 134.16 when we get to those levels. Euro JPY daily chart, 4-hour tells us to long, daily is mixed. Last week we closed 17 pips lower than the opening, but this is a very big area for us, guys. For the last 2 months, the psychological level at 8900, 8930 was resistance. So if we do get to that areas again, I will re-look to short. Pound US dollar 4-hour chart. 4-hour tells us to long, daily tells us to long. We closed 207 pips higher than the opening. We can flip the 4-hour. We flipped previous week from the bottom all the way to the top. Our zone will be between 3970 coming down to 3887. Now here, like the euro, we're breaking a big support level. We're going into the earth and sky trading zone. If I want to long, I would prefer if price can close above 3993 again for possible M2 long. If we do get into a long here, you're trading right into resistance. So I'll prefer if this resistance areas can break, pull back into long. Otherwise, if we keep on making new lows, then this will be the area here, 3887, where I will re-look for support to go long again. Pound JPY 4-hour chart. Remember on the weekly I showed you guys for a very long time that there was warning lights. We had that drop, and what it's happening now is price is going sideways. I will look for possible shorts 150.22, 150.64 for possible short setups, and long setups 147.78 if price do get that area is currently going sideways. We can see this 200 EMA here, the daily 200 EMA, how it gave support. Previous month it spiked down, big level here, psychological level, and burn. But look at this, now we're just going sideways. Aussie US dollar 4-hour chart. 4-hour tells us that we need to look for longs and the daily, so we can flip the 4-hour. We do that, flip from the bottom. Look at that spike, that is that short that I took out. My stop, or rather my profit take, was at the daily 200 EMA. I think Mark also got out there with a short. Very lucky for us, because look at that big candle there, or rather the wick. That was an 88 pip wick, and then immediately we bounced to the upside. 4 hours tells us to long, daily tells us to long. We flip from the bottom to the top. Our zone will be between 7881 coming down to 7827. Price currently going sideways. This is a support area here, so keep your eyes on that for possible long. If that breaks, keep your eyes on this level. But once again here too, if we do find support here, you're trading right into that resistance there. Because remember, that is support. If it breaks, it turns into resistance. If we find support then at 7873, be careful because the price can have a problem there. Aussie JPY tells us to look for shorts. If we look at this, then the 4 hour tells us to short, the daily tells us to short. Last week we closed 102 pips low in the opening. We can flip from the high to the low. Then our zone will be between 84.47 going up to 85.04. Price busy pulling into the open sky trading zone. I'll keep my eyes on 84.75, 84.89 for resistance for that short setup there. Use dollar JPY 4 hour chart. Here too, direction is short. If I look at the direction indicator, 4 hour tells us to short, daily tells us to short. Big drop last week. We closed 262 pips low in the opening, so we can expect a big correction, and we're busy seeing that. Our zone will be between 107.24 going up to 108.08. Areas of interest for me: 107.24, 107.40. and 107.67 for possible short setups on that one. If you look at the US dollar CAT is whipsawing through all these EMAs. Don't like it when it happens. Last week some of the guys took shorts from this psychological level here at 2600. I didn't take that. Look again, whipsawing. So there's a 100 pip range here. We whipsaw through all the EMAs. Doji candle, price broke back up again. I will rather prefer to look for 2692, 2722 to hit resistance there for possible short setups on the US dollar CAT. US dollar Singapore dollar, 4 hour tells us to short, daily tells us to short. Last week we closed 158 pips low in opening. We can flip the 4 hour for that short zone, so we flip previous week from the high to the low. Then our zone 3182 coming up to 3243. Price hitting the 50% flip now. I will keep my eyes on the psychological level at 3200 and 3220 for resistance to short the US dollar Singapore dollar. US dollar index getting into the zone big time here now. We broke the 55 EMAs. MACD is high, stochastic is overbought here. If we look at the direction indicator, it tells us that we need to look for shorts. 4 hour and the daily red, this is what I want to see. Then we've got a strong downtrend. Last week we also closed 124 pips low in the opening, so we can flip previous week from the high to the low. Our zone 89.35 going up to 89.90. Now price is getting into hitting the 62.5 flip. We need to look for previous support resistance now. There was a little previous of support resistance there and in this area here, so keep your eyes on that. Let's just quickly have a look at the 1 hour. Price in the zone, there's still no MACD divergence, so we can go a little bit further up, but for starters we can place a trend line and let's wait for that trend line to break. Otherwise price needs to close underneath the envelope before I will get in. And then if you trade from the 30 minutes, wait for the ribbon indicator to give us the cross, to give us the confirmation to go short. So that's it. Remember the webinar a little bit later today. If you can't make it, there's always a recording available later in the afternoon. Have an awesome one. Cheers.